So we're going to skip ahead a little bit so we can get to the part about scientists. We've already hit the pirates. Great pirates, very distinctive. I really like the one with the green, dressed in green. I know other people who really like the guy with the scarf. So this chapter is What Evil Lurks in the Unforgiving Deep. We're switching to a different ship with different people on it. This is Rob Fitzroy and Charles Darwin now. So let's see what they have to say. "Confound it, man," said Robert Fitzroy, captain of the boat about to be attacked by the pirates. "I told you women and the sea were a mighty bad combination." Fitzroy was young for a ship's captain, just 27, but the man he stood back to back with was younger still, a full 5 years his junior. Yet neither bore the frisky demeanor you would expect to find in people under 30. "I can't help myself, Robert," said his companion, Charles Darwin, cradling his big round head in his hands. "I love her, and I mean to marry her." "But I love her too," said Fitzroy. "She drives me to distraction. You already knew that." "Damn women with their hair and their faces," muttered Darwin. "I demand satisfaction," said Captain Fitzroy. "You don't leave me any choice." The cabin was a little small for a duel, neither man being able to stand up properly without grazing his head, but needs must at sea. 3 years' voyage, and it should come to this," said Darwin, shakily pouring powder into his pistol. "May the best man win." "You're a botanist." Footnote. Darwin was serving as an unpaid naturalist aboard the HMS Beagle. The Beagle was unimpressive for its day, just 90 feet long and of notoriously unseaworthy design. In his notes, Darwin described the voyage as one continual puke. "I am a trained naval officer. I don't fancy your chances much," said Fitzroy. The door was flung open with a crash that made Darwin wince, and ran in the breathless cause of the two men's argument, the lovely Lady Mara. "Please stop," she said with her lovely mouth. "There's—" But before Lady Mara could say any more, a cannonball splintered through the cabin wall at tremendous speed and buried itself in the side of her pretty head, knocking her off her feet and leaving her quite dead on the floor. Darwin and Fitzroy stood dumbfounded. "Well, should we—" Darwin gestured with his gun. "Hardly seems much a point. What a damned fool I've been," laughed Darwin. "Oh, and I'm as much to blame," said Fitzroy with a grin, pocketing his pistol and slapping his friend on the back. They would have hugged each other right then and there, but they were interrupted by a further crash as another cannonball, and then a pirate screamed in through the window. The two men stood stock still. "Don't make any sudden movements," whispered Fitzroy to his companion. "Remember, he's more scared of us than we are of him." "That's bears, you idiot," hissed Darwin out of the side of his mouth. "I don't think it applies to pirates." At the doorway, a second pirate appeared, with a luxuriant beard and a pleasant open face, all teeth and curls. "I'm the pirate captain, and I'm here for the gold," he said. Everybody froze. For a moment, the only sound was the gentle roar of the ocean and someone wheezing from the pirate with asthma. Help yourself," said Fitzroy eventually, slightly perplexed. Darwin was too terrified to speak. "Not that there's a great deal," continued the young captain. "I think some of the portholes might be made of gold, but then again, they could be made of brass. Same sort of color, it's so difficult to tell." "Rah!" said the pirate captain with a frightful bellow. "I know you're carrying 100 weight in gold bullion." "Really," said Fitzroy, quite perplexed. "I haven't seen anything of the sort." Perhaps the bit of the boat that's underwater is made of gold," mentioned Darwin, finding his voice at last. "I mean, it could be made of anything for all we know. You never get to see it." The pirate captain's icy blade against his throat struck him silent. "Search the hold, men, and bring me back some gold," said the pirate captain, with a sneer reminiscent of Elvis. The pirates were pretty slick by this stage of their piratical careers. They had managed to overrun the entire ship in a matter of minutes. The only casualty on the pirate side had been a pirate dressed in red, who had twisted his ankle trying to do that trick where you slide down the face of the mainsail, cutting it as you go with your cutlass, which worked fine up to a point, but still left a 20-foot drop once he reached the bottom of the canvas. "Ouch! My ankle!" he cried, but none of the other pirates had much sympathy for his reckless showboating. A group of them headed into the hold, but instead of all the clinking you would associate with gold, all they could hear was the chatter of creatures. One of the pirates tore a tarpaulin, only to discover row upon row of cages, each containing some sort of monkey. "The gold must be hidden inside these monkeys," shouted a pirate. Several of the pirates put down their flickering lamps, picked up monkeys of various different types, and slit them end to end, but all that spilt out was monkey guts. "Gold," said the pirate with an accordion, holding something yellowish up hopefully. "That's not gold, it's a gallbladder," said the pirate with a hook for his hand. Covered in bits of creature and thoroughly dejected, the pirate crew tramped back to Fitzroy's cabin. "Pieces of ape! Pieces of ape!" squawked Gary, the ship's parrot. "Will somebody shut him up?" scowled the pirate in green. "There's no treasure here, Captain. Just a lot of stupid creatures," said the pirate with a scarf. "Just like I told you," said Fitzroy. The pirate captain sat down and rubbed his eyes with a weary hand. It suddenly felt like it had been a very long day. "But Black Bellamy, he said you were carrying gold for the Bank of England." "The Bank of England?" said Fitzroy, grabbing at a table as the Beagle started to list alarmingly. "I believe I've heard there is such a boat, but it's sailing in the vicinity of the West Indies, from what I remember." "The West Indies? But that's where we've come from." "That Black Bellamy," said the pirate with a hook instead of a hand. "He was just trying to get us out of the way so he could plunder it for himself. Why, he hasn't changed at all. We've been bamboozled." The pirates were all very disappointed at the way Black Bellamy had behaved. We'll finish this up here in just a moment here. What have you been doing in these parts?" said the pirate captain to Darwin, trying to make a bit of lighthearted conversation, feeling more than a little awkward now. "We're on a scientific expedition. Searching for creatures?" "I have a theory," said Darwin, looking serious. "I'm afraid it's proved to be rather controversial. We came here looking for proof." "What is this theory? In terms a pirate might understand." "It's not something to be taken lightly. It will make you look at the world through fresh eyes. Things may never seem the same again," said Darwin in a spooky voice. "Go on," said the pirate captain, his curiosity bitten. Darwin gave a dramatic pause. "In short, I believe that a monkey properly trained, given the correct dietary regime, and dressed in fancy clothes, can be indistinguishable from a human gentleman. I believe he would cease to be a monkey and become more a man-pansy, if you will." A silence held the room. One of the pirates whistled. "I see. A man-pansy," said the pirate captain. "But because of my outlandish theories, I have made some powerful enemies, primarily the Bishop of Oxford," said Darwin, unable to keep the bitterness out of his voice. "He finds it offensive? He most certainly does. Because it contravenes his religious belief? Oh no, it has nothing to do with that, my dear pirate captain. The Bishop of Oxford recently became the largest shareholder in P.T. Barnum's world-famous Circus of Freaks." Darwin leaned forward with a conspiratorial air. "The circus has been making a killing of late because all of London town is entranced by its latest exhibit, the fantastical Elephant Man. Have you heard of him?" He was on show last time we were in England," said the pirate captain. "A real disappointment, as I remember. Doesn't even have a trunk. The trick is not to treat him like a gentleman, because he always starts crying if you do that. Anyhow, the Bishop of Oxford is clearly alarmed that my man-pansy might steal his Elephant Man's thunder, so he has denounced my ideas as blasphemous. He even said there was a bit in the Bible about how it was a sin to dress a monkey up in a waistcoat, but when asked for the page reference, he claimed to have forgotten." Darwin was clearly on the verge of an angry rage. "So I joined this expedition in an attempt to find a suitable specimen. Only now I received word from England that my brother Erasmus has gone missing. I believe that he is kidnapped by the Bishop of Oxford as a means of safeguarding against my successful return. I fear the bishop intends to do him some great harm unless I abandon my research." "Does that mean you have some success?" said one of the pirates. "Come, let me show you." Darwin and Fitzroy led the pirates to an adjoining cabin. The pirates gasped, for though the room was dark and cramped, they could make out its sole occupant. Sitting in a leather-backed chair was a monkey with the best posture any of the pirates had ever seen. Dressed in an expensive-looking silk suit, with a pipe in his mouth, the creature peered at the pirates through a gold-rimmed monocle. He appeared to be sipping on some sort of cocktail. The pirate captain thought he could smell gin. The monkey looked as if he had been freshly shaved. But though he was still recognizably a monkey, though if you squinted he might have passed for a wizened old man or a gigantic walnut. Obviously he cannot talk, said Darwin, turning on a few gaslights, but he is able to carry on a conversation through the use of flashcards. Though I expect that sometime in the future technology will move on, so that rather than having to rely on the cards, he'll be able to use, refrigerator magnets, something like that. The monkey straightened his cravat, held up a series of cards in quick succession. Hello there, pirates. Pleased to meet you, he spelled out. My name is Mr. Bobo. So, they continue on this wonderful, adventure. They go to London and attempt to combat the Bishop of Oxford's devious plans. And just to make sure that you guys have all, understood the story that's going on, I do have a brief, very teeny tiny comprehensive exercise for you. Please answer all of these questions to the best of your abilities. What do you think the themes of this book were? Several commentators have described the main theme as pirates. Another theme might have said to be ham. Would you agree? Which do you think is more important to the pirate captain, ham or his luxurious beard? If you had to choose which is more important to you, which one do you think you would pick? Choose the letter that represents your feelings upon completion of the Pirates and Adventurous Scientists. I would describe my mood as A, angry, B, restless, C, excitable, D, sleepy, or E, afraid. So, things to think about. Thank you so much for joining me today here at the library with these wonderful read-alouds, and I hope that you've enjoyed some. Sorry that I've gone on a little long. I have a tendency to do that with my classes, but thank you so much, and read some great books.